Hello there. This is a review of this. This is the Yamaha YTR 232 trumpet. This model was made in around the 70s sometime, I believe. Should probably double check that. I think that's right. But it's a nice looking trumpet. It did have some nasty parts on the lacquer. It was a lot worse, but I took some cleaner to that. Got rid of the nastiness for it. We'll come back to the case in a minute. The mouthpiece I'm using with this is a Bach 10.5C. Why do I use a Bach 10.5C, you may ask? Well, because it's the only trumpet mouthpiece I own. Let's just listen to it. Also, I have unfortunately happen to have a cold sore this time. Also, I think it might be worth mentioning I'm not a trumpet player, normally. But, from what I have played, I like this. The valves are just as smooth and responsive as ever. They're really some of the best piston valves that I've had to play with. But then again, you know, I'm stuck with stuff like this cheap marching French horn and whatnot. But tuning, slide and all, everything works. But how I got my hands on this curious instrument, you may be wondering. Well, for the longest time I thought no one else in my family was like musically inclined at all. But I was over at my uncle's house one time, and we were up in his attic. And I see this pretty brown case marked Yamaha. And instantly, my curiosity levels go through the roof. I'm like, no way that's an instrument. No. And anyway, I go over there, undo the satisfying... and lo and behold, find this beauty inside. And this mouthpiece was also in there with it. The original mouthpiece was not. It had this valve oil in there with it, with a lot of yellow valve oil in there, but that is no longer in there. Now inside the case, just going to set the instrument down here, way inside. Also, just look at this case. It's beautiful. It's only got one handle on the top. A lot of newer cases will have a handle on the side. But on the inside of the case, we've got the resting slot for the trumpet. And we got these two little holes for mouthpieces. But secret compartment down here. Inside is the owner's manual, which looks like it's the same owner's manual for the same cornet of this model. There's nothing too special about that, besides you'd expect from an owner's manual. Nothing too interesting. But also, there's a bunch of my uncle's old music. I was looking through some of this music, and I realized some of this is horn music. As it turns out, my uncle, like I, am a horn player. That was not worded properly, I don't think, but my uncle was also a horn player, sort of. He was a trumpet player who played horn a lot for his band. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And I later learned that my grandfather also played horn back in the day. I knew it was always in my blood, even though my uncle is married into the family. Anyway. But, the horn itself, it's got a bit of a noticeable seam where the bell's attached on. I don't know if you can see that right in there. But, and it had almost no dents on it whenever I found it, too. There was maybe one tiny one up in the bell section around here. I may have caused another tiny one or two somewhere, but I'd have to look for it. But as an instrument, this thing, like, out of all of my French trumpets that I've played on, this is on par, if not better. Part of it's probably the mouthpiece as well. I'd prefer to have a smaller mouthpiece on a trumpet, but again, not a trumpet player, but I play trumpet a lot for fun. So yeah, that is the Yamaha YTR 232 trumpet. I can't tell you how much you could find these for nowadays because I don't think I've ever seen one listed. Haven't looked that much. But yeah, it's a good horn.